Hello everyone, this is the video of Business Element class 10 and it covers the first topic, that is joint stock company. Okay, so first we will check out what are the syllabus topics that we need to study under the unit first of elements of business. So let's check it out. That is syllabus. The first one is joint stock company. We will discuss about the meaning of joint stock company and its features. Okay. The second one is the private company. Okay. And again we will discuss about the meaning of private company and features of the private company. Third one is public company. And again we will discuss about the meaning and features of the public company. And the last one that we have, that is multinational company. And again about the multinational company we will discuss its meaning and features. So this is all about the syllabus that we have under the unit first. Okay, so let's begin with the topic, that is company. First we will check what is meaning of company. Only then we will able to understand what are the different types of companies and what are their functions, features, etc. So let's first understand the meaning of the company. What is the meaning? As you can see here, a company is a person, artificial, invisible, intangible, and existing only in the contemplation of the law. Being a mere creature of law, it possesses only those properties which the character of its creation confers upon it, either expressly or as incidental to its very existence. I believe this is very complicated definition and you lost somewhere. But don't worry, we will check it one after another. As you see here in this definition, that a company is a person, artificial, invisible. So let's understand first three words. Normally we call the human being as a person. So it is a living person, human being, that can think something independently, that can do something independently, isn't it? So why company is being called as person? Okay, so as being a person, you have the certain rights, you have the certain freedoms, you have the certain independence or something like liberty to make your decision. On top of this, you have the right to file a lawsuit against someone. Okay, so these are the features that being a person you have. So similarly, now you understood what are the features a person has. So here company is being said as a person. So all those features means it has the freedom, it has the liberty, it has the right, it has the liabilities, it has the obligations. So everything it has, and this is the reason that it is known as person. And on top of this, as I said, being a person, you have the right to initiate a lawsuit against someone. So company has the right to initiate the lawsuit against someone, and someone can also initiate the lawsuit against the company. So because of all these features, a company is known as person. Now the next thing, that is saying artificial. Now as we know that we are something like natural. Okay, a human being is not creating the second human being in the sense manufacture, but company is the entire creation of a human being. So it is an artificial, though it's a person, but it is artificial. Again, invisible, the company is invisible, Well, of course you see the building and all the kind of business companies practicing, but actually it is invisible. If you want to see where is company, well, you can see the building, you can see the workers, you can see the products, you see the different entities, different elements that constituting a company, but actually you do not able to see the company, so it is invisible. Now the next term, that is intangible. Intangible means which can be touched. So if it is invisible, then how you supposed to touch the things? So based on that, it is intangible and existing only in the contemplation of the law. Well, it is formed, means a company is formed only as per the law. So law allows to create certain types of companies, only then these companies are created. Otherwise it is not possible, means a person independently without the permission of the law cannot create a company. So it means a person who wants to create a company, he needs to take permission from the law. Okay, so without the role of a law, a company cannot be created. Being a mere creature of law, so it is saying that being a mere creature of law, it is created by the law, so it is creature. It possesses only those properties which are character of its creation, confers upon it either expressly or as incidental. It is its very existence. Well, of course it is not a much difficult point to appreciate, because you know, whatever property you have, means your home, you have the garden or whatever car, so all those property belong to you. But others car you won't have saying something like that is yours, others house you are not saying like that is yours, isn't it? Similarly, whatever the property is that is created regarding that company, that belong to that company or else not. So it is saying like that. So this is all about the meaning of a company. I believe you must understood, because all the concept that we are going to discuss, that depends upon the understanding of this company's meaning. Okay, if you understood it, then subsequent terminologies will be very easy to appreciate. Okay, so now let's check the second point. It is the characteristics of the company. What are the characteristics? You can see here. Incorporated association. Well, of course, a single person cannot form a company. There are limitations. So, certain number of people are required. So, it is incorporated association. So, certain number of people creating the association and then incorporated. Okay. The next point is artificial legal person. We have discussed in detail what is meaning of artificial legal person. Okay. So, it is not a natural, rather artificial legal person, because legal in the sense it can sue someone on its own name. For example, there is a company, Pepsi. Pepsi can file a lawsuit against you or any person by its own name. Pepsi versus Mr. Rohan. So you can say like that, because Pepsi has the right, since it is a legal person, so it has the right to file a lawsuit on its own name. Similarly, you can file the case against the Pepsi company, not against the director, chairman or any such person, rather you need to file the case against the company's name only. So if you have any issue regarding the Pepsi, then you will file the case against the company. So the name will be Mr. Rohan versus Pepsi. Okay, so this is how it is a legal person. The next point is separate legal entity. Of course, it has all the features that integrated into this, that is under the name of the company. So it is a separate entity, that is legal entity. And so now I believe you must understood what is legal, artificial, separate. Okay, so now the next characteristic is Perpetual existence. What does it mean? That the literal meaning of perpetual is something exists. Normally, it has no time limit. As being a person, we have the time limit. We can die after a certain number of years, or we don't know. Basically, our life is unpredictable. Nevertheless, as per the speculation or the life expectancy, say we have 70 years or 75 or even 80 years life expectancy. But after that, anyway, we are going to die. But with company, matter is not like that. It has the perpetual existence. So time limit is not speculated. It can exist any number of years. Okay, as it is artificial person. So if a person, shareholder or the owner, basically no one is the owner in a company, rather it is a shareholder, and there are many shareholder of a company. Okay, so shareholder can die, but because of the death of a shareholder, irrespective of his position in that company or irrespective of the share he has in that company, it doesn't matter. If he dies, doesn't matter, the company will still exist. Okay, so it is meaning of perpetual existence. So there is no time limit. Okay, the next characteristic is common seal. Of course, you must have seen that the seal of a company, a small firm, or every organization has a seal. That you can see that. Yes, a putting by the name of the company itself and the director and the chairman or other authoritative person who's supposed to be signing on that seal putting. So that is the something like a characteristics that essentially required a company to have it, authorizing any document and all, and that basically saying that this document sealed with the name of the company and duly signed by the respective authority means that is saying that that document is genuine. Okay, now the next characteristic is limited liability. Well, if you have some other type of business, then you are whole and sole liable for that. But in company, your liability is limited up to that extent as you share your property or capital in that company. So say a company worth of 1000 crores and you have 100 crores share value in that company. So you are liable only for that much, not for the whole of the company. Okay, so your liability is limited only the amount of investment, that is in terms of capital or share, also known as you invested in that company. So there is limited liability. The next point is transferable shares. That is again an interesting point. It means you can transfer your share to someone else. If you want, you can sell your shares. Okay, so that is another freedom you have. Separate property. Again, this is interesting. A company can buy a property. As I discussed above that, a company can file a lawsuit, company can do this and do that. So similarly, a company can buy the property on its own name. Okay, so that belongs to that company, not to any individual or any shareholder. Okay, so that is separate property. So company can own separate property. Next one is delegated management. What is delegated management? Delegated management means the management of the company, the businesses of the company that can be delegated means deputed to given someone. There are so many directors, isn't it? In a company there are so many directors, so many managers and all. They are basically given the power to run the business, to manage the company. So that is another property of a company. Last one is the companies in India are governed by Indian Companies Act. That is saying that a company in India, of course, if you remember or you can check that contemplation of the law, it is made under the law. So there is a separate law that governs such activities or businesses of a company, that is known as Indian Companies Act. Okay. Now we will check the types of the company. The first one is joint stock company, that is given in the syllabus. Second one is private company. Third one is public company. And the last one is multinational companies. Okay. In our syllabus, it is given, okay, but it doesn't mean that the types of company there are only 4. There are many, but these are the important one. Okay, so you need to focus on only these 4 at this level. At higher classes you will study in detail, but at this point in time try to understand all these 4 types of the companies. So now you understood the meaning of the company, the characteristics of the company. So if you understood nicely, only then you can appreciate the joint stock company, private company, public company, multinational company, because the 50% you already understood and 50% part that you need to understand, isn't it? So let's move on next concept, that is joint stock company. Again, first understand what is meaning of joint stock company. As it is said here, however, before understanding the meaning of joint stock company, let's first discuss. There are 3 terms: joint stock company. So company we have discussed in detail just now. So now you know what is meaning of company. So you have now 2 words: joint stock. Joint means you know together something. There are 3, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 50 people, that they are doing something. So joint. Stock, what is meaning of a stock? It is again something technical that you need to understand. The normal meaning of a stock that I believe you must know, that is something a storing. You have certain number of some items stored in your house. So you say like that, I have the stock, isn't it? Say you have bought the 12 bottles of cold drink. So if someone comes to you and asks for the soft drink, then you say, oh, I have too much stock of soft drink. So you can have any number of bottle, isn't it? So that is a stock. Means you have certain number of things you have stocked in your home. So it's the same meaning. So nevertheless, just check what is the technical meaning of stock. The first meaning, that is the goods or merchandise kept on the premises of a shop or warehouse and available for sale or distribution. See, so you have certain number of items. Say you are in a business, like you are doing a business of bicycle. So in your storeroom, warehouse, or the shop, or whatever the term you use, so in your shop, if there are certain number of bicycles, like 50 bicycles, 100 bicycles, whatever, so what you say, you have the stock of bicycle, है ना? The next meaning, that it is the capital raised by a company or corporation through the issue of and subscription of shares. So that is another meaning of a stock, that is the capital, the amount, the investment that is raised by a company. I believe you must have heard about the share market and all, buying the share, selling the share, and share market is down and all. Gradually you will understand all these things. So this is talking about the same thing. So at this point in time, don't get confused with all those terms, rather focus on the joint stock company. So now we understood what is meaning of joint, that is together means there are certain number of people. A stock means something like some items that is in your shop, you stored that, so you have the stock, and the company, you know, that is an association or artificial person or all, etc, etc, you know that. Okay, now the certain more points that you need to understand at this point in time about the joint stock company, that is it is voluntary association of persons who generally contributed capital to carry on a particular types of a business. Of course, without the investment, without the capital, how a business can be run, है ना? So that is the saying. But see, another term that you need to focus on, voluntary, means certain number of people on their own, they decided to come to initiate a business, to form a company and run a business. For that, they invested certain amount. Whatever the amount they invested, say there are 7 people, they planned to run a business, so they made a company. So these 7 people, someone invested 50%, someone invested 10%, someone invested say 30%. Likewise, as per depending upon their interest, the different people have invested different amount. Okay, so the amount they invested, that is known as their share. Who invested 50% means 50% of that company's share belong to that person. Who invested 10%, it means the 10% of that company's share belong to that person. So it is like this. Okay, now let's check out the characteristics of the company, that is also feature. The first one is legal formation. It's all those features we have discussed while discussing the company. You can see that legal formation, artificial person, separate legal entity, common seal, perpetual existence, limited liability, democratic management. So we have discussed all these points while discussing the concept of company. Okay, that's why I said at that time that first understand this, only then you would able to understand the further terminologies. But here still one point, that is democratic management, we didn't discuss in our previous slide. That is democratic management, it is saying like that it has to be with mutual agreement. All person, or basically all shareholders, have the equal right, freedom, and they can share their views and they can run their business with mutual agreement. It's not like someone is dictator and whatever one person is commanding, everyone needs to follow that. Not like that. Democratic means it is free, in the sense that everyone has the right, everyone has the freedom, everyone has the obligation. So that is shared among all shareholders equally. Okay, so no one is something like ruler in a company, no one is something like boss commanding the other shareholder. So it is a democratic environment. Okay, now the next point that we need to discuss here, that is examples of joint stock company. As you can see, Indian Oil Corporation Limited, Tata Motors, State Bank of India, Reliance Industries Limited, these are the joint stock company because there are number of people who have the share in these companies. So it is joint stock company. I believe you understood the meaning of joint stock company now, or basically something more information that is not given in our syllabus, but for our additional information I would like to discuss that. That is joint stock company additional information. As you can see the heading. So what are those? That is advantage. What are the advantages of a joint stock company? You can see that. Large financial resources. So a joint stock company is supposed to be very large. As you can see in the example, we have seen the State Bank of India, Indian Oil, Reliance Industries. See the financial expansion, the business expansion these companies have. So there is large financial resources normally in a joint stock company. Next advantage is limited liability. We have discussed this point. Every shareholder has the liability but limited to his share in that company. So if company supposed to be having the business getting benefit, then he will get the benefit as per his share. It is not like that he will get the 50%, not at all. Whatever the share he has contributed, he will get the accordingly. Again, if company runs in loss, then again a shareholder will suffer only up to that much as much he contributed in that company. So it's all depend upon the share, how much you hold share in that company. Okay, that last point is large scale production. Of course, this is another advantage of a joint stock company, that it can produce any number, any amount, isn't it? The next one is, that is limitation. Of course, there are certain limitation of a joint stock company. What those limitations are? That is difficult to form, well, to run a company, as we have discussed that one person cannot form a company. So there are certain number of people required to run a company. So it is sometimes very difficult to manage, to think in one line. Okay, because there are different minds, they can think in different ways, isn't it? So on that account it is comparatively difficult, because in a private company or in a partnership or in sole owner, something like you are the authority of your own business, then you don't need to consult with any other person, you can run the way you want. But in a company, every person's viewpoint need to be taken. Next one is excessive governmental control. Of course, there are different rules and regulations that a company needs to follow, because we have studied that contemplation of the law, so it cannot go beyond the legal provision. And of course, government time to time keeps on making different rules and regulations, so you need to follow that. The next limitation is delay in policy decisions and all. Of course, again, these are the points of such type that is understood, like there are 10 shareholders, 15 shareholders. So of course, if you want to pass a policy or a decision, then everyone needs to sign on that document. So it will take time, isn't it? The next one is suitability. What does it mean that? Let's check it out. Suitability for large business. Of course, being a sole owner of a business, it is normally difficult to run a business of a large scale. But if it is a company, then it is easy to manage large scale business, isn't it? Because you have the limited liability, because you have the different people to assist you. So this is suitable for the large business. Secondly, suitable for risky businesses. Again, interesting point, that if you are sole owner of a business, whatever the loss happen to your business, you are the sole person who is going to suffer. But in a company, it is not only you. All the shareholders will equally responsible. Now come to the our next topic, that is what? Private company. So again, you remember the meaning of company. So now we need to understand what is meaning of private. Okay, so let's check out the meaning. What it is saying here, a private limited company is a type of business entity in private ownership. Means what happens? Private company, that suppose you and some of your friends decided to run a business and you created a company. Okay, so that is private company, because a few people have the exclusive right over the company. Okay, so that is a private company. However, check out its characteristic, then the meaning will be much transparent and you can appreciate them. So that is characteristics and features, both are the same term. Number of members. Okay, so number of members in a private company is limited. Okay, but in a joint stock company, that is unlimited. There is no fixed. In the private company, see limited liability. Here is also the liability is limited up to that extent as much you invested. Perpetual succession. See, there we have studied perpetual existence. Here we are seeing perpetual succession. It means if one shareholder, one person dies, then his or her successor, son, daughter, may take over. Okay, so that is perpetual succession. Index of members. Okay, so members, the number of members, the index of members, that is again need to be incorporated. Numbers of directors. So certain number of directors are essentially required of a private company. Prospectus, it is a document that contains all the information about the company, the board of directors, the businesses and everything. The next point is minimum subscriptions. So it required certain number of subscriptions. Without that you cannot form the private company. But when we will discuss the difference between private company and public company, you will understand certain points that you might not able to appreciate at this point in time. So don't worry. Rest of the things I believe we are repeating, so it is easy to appreciate. The next one is the examples of private company. So what are the company like Flipkart, Book My Show? So there are number of companies you can name that is a private company. Now we have the again some additional information regarding the private company types. So see, what are the types of private company? Limited by shares. So in private company, limited by shares. So how much share you hold in a company, accordingly it is categorized. The next one is limited by guarantee. Okay. The next one is unlimited liability. Now the next one is formation through registration by fulfilling the legal requirements. So of course, under the law, there are certain provisions and procedures that you need to follow to form a private company, and it is comparatively very easy to form. Okay. Next one is advantage. What are the advantages? Let's check out. Only minimum 2 directors are required. So to run a private company, only 2 persons are required. 2 persons can form a company. No need to prepare a report for annual general meetings. So for a private company, it is not essentially required to prepare annual general meetings. Okay, but for a large company, public company, it is essentially required to do that. Now come to the next topic, that is limitation. What is limitation? Cannot transfer share freely. Well, of course, if you and your friend formed a company and you want to transfer your share as we have studied in a joint stock company, here you cannot do that. Shareholders have greater risks and liabilities. Here, since you are supposed to be having the greater shares, greater investments, and there are limited people, so of course the risks and liabilities that is also greater. Okay, now come to the next topic that we have, that is public company. Okay, so we have discussed a joint stock company, private company, and now we will discuss public company. Okay, so first let's check out the meaning of public company. Company's meaning we know that, so we need to understand only public. Okay, so public company may be said to be an association consisting of not less than 7 members and which is not a private company. So any company which member is greater than 7 and it is not a private company, but a company which has more than essentially more than 7 members and it is not a private company categorically, then it is known as public company. Okay, now let's check out the features that will of course help you to understand more clearly. Ownership means not a single person is held responsible or owner of a company. Okay, so it belongs to public, who are the shareholders of the company. Number of members, of course there are many people who are the member of the public company. Perpetual succession, again see perpetual succession. So this company has also perpetual succession, one after another. They may carry the business. Index of members, it is again the repetition of the point. Paid up capital, okay. The meaning of paid up capital is the amount of money a company has been paid from shareholders in exchange for shares of its stock. So what does it mean that paid up capital is created when a company sells its shares on the primary market directly to investors? So as you have seen that maybe some of your relatives and all buying some shares of certain companies. So this is how a company creates paid up capital, isn't it? You pay certain amounts to share a company's share. You pay certain amount to buy a company's certain share. So that is paid up capital concept. Okay. The next one is number of directors. So number of directors. Public company essentially required to have certain number of directors. Okay. Next point is prospectus. We have discussed about the prospectus, that the document that contains all the information of the company. Next one is minimum subscriptions. So we have already discussed this point as well. So there are certain subscriptions that essentially required. Now let's check out the example. What are the companies that categorized as public company? Coal India Limited, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation, that is ONGC, BHEL, etc. So these are the public company. Now some additional information about the public company. Formation through registration by fulfilling the legal requirements. Of course, the legal proceedings and legal procedure that need to be followed, that is same for every type of company. Of course, the liabilities, the requirements, the documents are that varies accordingly, but registration that has to be done. Advantages: high credibility. So public company has high credibility. It is more trustworthy. Okay, the company cannot run away. Normally, being a common person, we think that whether to invest in a private company, whether it will run away or become bankrupt, then we cannot do anything. But public company, it is highly credible. Limited liability, again, we have discussed this point while discussing the joint stock company. And the last one is risk spreading. So limited liability related to risk spreading. So risk is of such type that not not imposed on one or two persons, rather it is spread to all shareholders. Limitations. What are the limitations? More regulations, of course, the legal procedures and all that you need to follow, that is complex. Okay, the next one is loss of ownership. So no one is something like single person is not an owner of a company, so you don't have the such right. Last one is lack of control. Of course, if you are not an owner, then you don't have such control as you would have in a private company or in a personal business. So these are the advantages and limitations. Now come to the next topic, that is multinational company. Okay, so what is meaning of multinational company? First check out the meaning. As it is said here, multinational means national means one nation, multinational means more than one nation. So what it is said here, multinational company is one which is registered as a company in one country but carries businesses in many other countries. So a company that is registered in India doing business in some other countries like Singapore, Thailand, UK, France, Germany, US. So that is known as MNC, multinational company, because it has the business in many countries. Now let's check out its features. What are the features? Large size, of course, a company running in more than one country its size has to be large, that is obvious. The second one is international operation, as name suggests. There is no point to discuss this. And the last one is centralized control. Of course, the company where it registered, it controls from there only to all those branches spread all across the world. Okay, so if Indian company is registered in India and it has the business in other countries, so all the businesses that is being exercised in other countries that will regulated, command or controlled by the head office that is in India. Okay, now let's check out the examples. What are the examples of multinational companies? Microsoft, Apple, Coca-Cola, TCS. These are the companies that have the international operations. Well, there are hundreds of companies which have the international operations, but the important one to understand all these examples I have given here. Now again, to have some additional information about the multinational companies. Formation, of course, again the same, through registration by fulfilling the legal requirements. Advantages, that is investment of foreign capital. This is investment. This is a big advantage because you will get the foreign capital in your company if you are running your business in many countries. Generation of employment, you are giving the employment to many people, not only in your own country but in some other countries as well. Okay, the next one is increase in foreign exchange. Of course, if you are doing a business in UK, then you have increased the businesses of foreign exchange, that is rupees to pound, pound to rupees and all. Limitations, loss of ownership. Well, of course, it is common limitation. In a company, you know that a single person cannot be owner. Change in traditions. Of course, the tradition you follow that not essentially is required to be followed because you are doing your business in different countries. So you have to follow certain norms, certain rules, certain culture and all of all those countries accordingly. Okay, so these are some additional informations of multinational companies. Now we have the interesting topic, that is difference between private company and public company. So check out what are the major difference. What I have done here, I have made certain points, that is on what basis private company is different from public limited company. So basis, so let's check out first basis, membership. As we have discussed while discussing the meaning and concept and features of the private company, public company, that is membership. So now we will check the number of membership required. For private limited company, minimum membership is merely 2 and maximum 200. So a private limited company cannot have the member more than 200. Okay, and minimum 2. But public limited company, the minimum number required, that is 7, and the maximum number, there is no limit. It could be anything, any number. Okay, next one is based on transfer of share. So in private limited company, transfer of share is almost restricted. Okay, but in public limited company it is free. You can sell your share any point in time. Next one is based on capital required. For private limited company, not less than 1 lakh. So you can start a private limited company merely with 1 lakh rupees. But on the same time, public limited company, you require to have at least 5 lakh investment. Now the next point is based on fundraising. So based on that, cannot give open invitation to the public to subscribe the shares. Of course, a private limited company has limited right, as it cannot sell its share. Okay, so for that you need to be a listed company. Here can raise as much money as required from public. So you can raise fund through the share that you can do at any point in time. There is as such no restrictions. Next one is based on identification. After its name, use private limited. As you can see, private limited company. But here, use as limited as suffix. So it is only a limited company, not private limited company. Like that. The last one is number of directors. For private limited company, the number of directors required, that is only 2, as you have seen above that membership. So same number of director required. For public limited company, minimum 3 directors are required. Though membership, that is minimum membership is 9, but number of directors, that is minimum 3, that is required. Okay, so these are the basic differences between private company and public company. So I believe you must understood all these things and enjoyed the video. So see you in next video with new topic, new unit. In the meantime, watch it again and again, and if you have any query, you can ask through the comment box given below.